Chad was like, no, that's the realest record you got. You know, that's the most honest record you got. That's the best record you got on this album. Well, I'm telling you, I'm not putting it out. Give it to me.
Wow. Give
it to me. I'm gonna show you it's a hit record. You tripping. Give it to me. He gave it to us. That's why 3-2 on the beginning.
Yeah, he was on the beginning.
You know?
Mama put me out at only 14, so I started selling crack.
I'm saying he gave it to us, and one day it's arguably one of the best records, most meaningful records UGK ever was a part of.
Yeah, we on Boss Talk 101. Yeah, we gonna talk.
The only person that I think from that era that has still has the perfect voice though is Charlie.
Yeah, I was about to say, I knew you were going to say Charlie
about that song with you and Pimp did with Charlie, man, about because he talked about God. Lord, I'm just a G. That song is the hardest song.
Dear Lord, I know you don't condone the things I be doing out here in these streets.
This was a very pivotal moment in Charlie Wilson's life. And when we recorded with Charlie Wilson, this was, Charlie Wilson had become a very bad drug addict.
Correct.
And had lost it all. The only thing that he had was his voice. He fell in love with a very religious woman. I think she might have been a pastor. But I know she was a deeply religious woman, and she pulled him out of the darkness. You know what I'm saying? And by the grace of God, he still had his voice. So when we met him, he was still very, and to this day, very, very grounded and very thankful and very humble. Wow. That, not only that he's still alive, no longer on drugs, right? Still got his voice, and people still appreciate him. And, which is really a precursor at that time for where I'm at now. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I'm blessed that I still have my voice. I ain't fucked up my voice.
No, your voice dope.
You know?
I was born in the ghetto, man. I was raised in the hood, and unless you live it yourself, it just can't be understood. People think
all of that shit, you know what I'm saying? I can actually still write in my mind at a pretty high level. You know what I'm saying? I just did this song with Benny the Butcher, and that boy's rapping his ass off on that motherfucker.
Cool.
And then I went in there and I say, yeah, I can rap my ass off too. So it's gonna be a fool, and we sending it over to somebody that could really, really rap his ass off. So I can hang with the best of them still in my mind.
That verse though, when Pimp speaking on the old Lord, when he talking at the first, man, it's profound. It's speaking to something, bro.
I pray that you can overlook the wrong that I done in my life.
That's where he was, man. Pimp had a very, very deep belief in what he believed God had for him. And he wasn't taking no from nobody in terms of that. And he eventually got to what he believed God had in store for him.
Wow.
There was a certain way he wanted to be seen in this world, and he is seen in this world as that. The way that y'all think about Pimp C is exactly how he would want y'all to think about him.
He did it.
I mean, he has actually become the legend he had always aspired to be. And I hate to see him gone, not just for me, but the man had children, the man had a wife. They deserved more time with him in my eyes. I had one of the greatest lives in the world that I was able to share with him. I regret nothing. You know what I'm saying? We actually got to say everything we needed to say with each other before he passed away. A lot of people didn't get that closure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I can sit here and say I have no regrets about everything. I did everything I was supposed to do for him.
This was my older brother in the studio. I was his older brother. But no, I wasn't trying to hear that shit. This nigga was my tutor, man. This nigga tried to steer me right.
But before he passed, we got back on the same page. Because when he came home, life was real different for Pimp. Pimp was really, really loved and wanted, and everybody wanted time with him. So he was getting pulled by so many people with so much money and all these different things that didn't include me. And I'm like, that's fine. If that's what you want to do, go do it. But it's not what you think it is, because I did it, and it's not easy, and it took me years.
But he has to go through it sometimes.
Yeah, it took me 2 years. After he went into county and eventually into the state, and it took me 2 years to figure out how to do a solid show without him.
Yeah.
I was performing and doing a show, but damn, we can't do that song without Chad. Damn, why we didn't do this? It took a while to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? And he went out and tried to do shows by himself.
It was tough.
After he came home, you got to figure out the order. You got to figure out the interaction. And shit
Because y'all
was
did
so
everything
different.
together.
And shit was so different. He had never really been out there
Right.
consistently by himself. So he'd have to do every verse. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
Ain't no breaks. It's different when it's just you. I commend solo artists.
But
Niggas got a lot on their plate.
Thank you. You that verses. I miss Pimp so much when you doing that verses, bro. Like, cause you had the shirt on, and I was like, man, I cussed Bobo out and everybody else. I'm mad. It's just personal to me. You know what I mean? Like everything about it. It's supposed to be here. I don't like
he wasn't
this.
mad
I'm
about
upset
that.
cause I'm missing him. I know what it is.
Come on.
Boys kicking back, laying in the shade. Ain't nobody tripping cause the money already made.
You know what I mean?
So we even had to do it different. That was like I literally had to make. I didn't want to rap his verses on verses. So we had to mix the songs we presented in a way to where his vocals were as loud as mine would be live on stage.
Wow.
So people could really feel him in the room. You know what I'm saying? So we had to literally go and get like original versions of records and go in the studio and elevate the volume on his parts because I wanted his words to live in his voice in that room. I didn't want to rap his vocals, his lyrics.
I can't hear you.
Back in 2000 for the baller, the drop top bag, all it.
In that. So that was the main thing I wanted out of that evening is to let him
Did a great
actually,
job, man.
his voice actually live in that room.
Thank you. And I'm gonna say one day, this is the last and final question. It's over.
I have a statement.
Okay, wait just a minute before you make it.
Yeah, let you close with the statement.
You
I'm
gonna
saying
close
the
with the
best for
statement.
last.
Okay.
One day, did you know that song was gonna be big as it is to this day?
This world we living in, man, it ain't nothing but drama. Everyone want a home.
One day?
Yeah.
No, Pimp did.
That's
He
my
knew it.
favorite
Yes,
song.
Pimp did.
I know it. I knew. I had
my
to get that
favorite
question.
song.
That was for her.
So One Day was originally a 3-2 solo song for his first album. He comes over and he sits with us and brings us his album. He plays the whole album. One Day is the last song on the album. And after he played the album, he said, he said, so that's it, but the last song, it's not gonna be on the album. It's too slow, it's too sad. And Chad looked at him like he was crazy, like, what are you talking about? That's the best record on your album. Like, yeah, but that shit too sad, it's too slow, it's not gonna work. It's not, because 3-2 is like me, he's a rapper,
Correct,
right?
correct.
You know, so it didn't really, for him, it didn't present the best version of his ability, his capabilities, right? Chad was like, no, that's the realest record you got. You know, that's the most honest record you got. That's the best record you got on this album. Well, I'm telling you, I'm not putting it out. Give it to me.
Wow.
Give it to me. I'm gonna show you it's a hit record. You tripping. Give it to me. He gave it to us. That's why 3-2 on the beginning.
Yeah, he was on the beginning.
You know?
Mama put me out at only 14, so I start selling crack, cocaine, and codeine.
I'm saying he gave it to us, and One Day is arguably one of the best records, most meaningful records UGK ever was a part of.
He went and got Ronnie Spencer. Ronnie told me the story.
Try to get out of the studio, let him do what he do. Pimp C said that's the best thing to do. Let him do him. So
I like that.
So I did the song, and it was like in probably about 3 or 4 minutes, I finished the song.
That's
and
cool.
they was all gone to lunch, and when they came back,
It's a wrap.
I was sitting outside by the pool, and I hear all this screaming and hollering and jumping, man, and so they all come outside and say, man, come back up. I said, what's going on? I said, y'all don't like it? He said, no, it's a hit. We love it. I'm gonna do it for Boss Talk 101.
Hey.
It is. Fool, one day you here, and then you're gone. Yeah. One day you here, baby, and then you're gone.
To be on the front, you know, and how it all happened. And people
He
didn't.
sounds so much like Ronald Isaac.
They didn't even know it wasn't Ronald.
No, you
to this
didn't
day.
even know.
No,
No,
I
for
didn't know.
years, for
I didn't
years.
know. I was like, what?
Yeah, we on Boss Talk TV. Shout out to E. He the reason you see me.